Hey, what's up? Communication 101. So today I'll be speaking about the Obon Festival. In Japanese, we tend to call it Obon Matsuri. Matsuri basically means festival. And Obon Festival is a Buddhist tradition that has been celebrated in Japan for over 500 years. Just figured that one out. It's been around since before the 1900s, before Thomas Jefferson Declaration of Independence. Like, that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like, been around since like the 1600s or something like that. So the festival is generally a 3-day event. Um, when the Obon Festival first started, people believed that the festival was a way of honoring ancestors in heaven, and spirits of the afterlife were believed to visit household altars. So a perfect example of like a Japanese altar, it consists of a kabuto, which is Japanese armors and stuff like that. And they generally put it in a display case. Got a wooden table. They put like the portrait of someone who has passed away, and they pretty much light up an incense. So that's what they're generally referring to as far as an altar. If you like to know more, I'd say I'd say like go into a shrine or some type of temple where like Japanese praying and religious activities are often practiced. Would be a great way to get to know what these Japanese altars look like. So anyway, presently the festival became an opportunity for many family reunions, and people would typically visit their hometowns, and at times, yeah, they would visit their gravesite. The gravesite, their gravesite is in like the gravesite of their ancestors, and they would clean the place up as a way of just respecting the purity and like the cleanliness of who they were as an individual. So that's pretty typical during like the Obon Festival duration. And let's see, alongside with that, the story of the Obon Festival. So this, check this out, it's pretty crazy. I didn't even know this myself. I thought the whole Obon Festival was just a little Japanese festivity for people to get along with, and that's where it all started. During the summer, they were just fooling around, having fun, and said, "Hey, this is real fun. We should gather around and continue this on." So I thought that was the history, but check this one out. So the story of the Obon Festival rituals is believed to have originated in India. So it's actually not even really Japanese at all, as far as how it started. It started in India, so I'm guessing it's like a Native American Navajo type of thing because it started in India. I could kind of figure that one out a little bit. So as far as like the dance moves and stuff, I guess people in like the Native Americans enjoyed doing dances, especially like the Cherokee. They were real into dances. The Arapians and all them. So anyway, so then the ritual spread to China along with other parts of South Asia, and then eventually hit Japan. So I guess like there were other countries. So that's pretty cool, you know what I mean? Like, aside from Japan, if I really wanted to explore the Obon Festival culture, I could go to its homeland where it originated in India, or I could go to other parts of South Asia, such as China, maybe like Laos, Vietnam, Indonesia, all those places. So it's pretty cool how the Obon Matsuri is in Japanese for Obon Festival, so that's in Japan. But then the Obon Festival itself and the history of it could be found in other countries. That's pretty fascinating to me. So, alrighty. So the story consists of Buddha's disciple using his supernatural powers to contact his mother in the afterlife, with his hopes of curing her from the pain she was going through. He realizes that she was trapped in the realm of hungry ghosts, which is a world of hungry ghosts or supernatural beings suffering from unbearable hunger for grotesque negative matters. So in other words, basically spirits were cursing this mother, and the disciple of Buddha, who was the son of this mother, wanted to cure her from these cursed ghost spirits. Basically these these hungry ghosts which had hunger for devastation, negativity, and destruction. So it basically, put this poor lady into a lot of pain, and the man wanted help. So what happened was basically he, reached out to Buddha after he was returning from his summer retreat and asked him like, "Hey, Buddha, check this out. My mom's really suffering. What can you do? Can you help my mom out? Like, I really love my mom." So, Buddha agreed, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna give you these instructions. I'm gonna give you these directions. I want you to follow them. And as long as you do, she should be free." So he did. The disciple did, and the mother was free. So that's basically the history behind Obon, which I didn't even know. Like, it's real cool, you know what I mean? That's like the whole history behind it. It's not just a bunch of people, a bunch of little kids having fun at a summer festival and that prolonged. You know what I mean? It's basically based upon suffering and the freedom from it. And so, yeah. Obon is the Japanese transliteration of the Sanskrit word ulam bana, which means to hang upside down, and it pertains to unbearable pain and suffering. So currently, Obon Festival is an opportunity for Japanese individuals to free ancestors from their pain. So, which is very similar to the Buddha's disciple story. And so, yeah. The greatest performance during the Obon Festival is known to be the Bon Odori. So Bon is basically short for the phrase Obon. So that's basically why it's called Bon. Odori is a Japanese translation for the word dance. So that's Bon Odori. And it's a traditional folk dance that Japanese individuals would do during the Obon Festival as a way of welcoming the dead. So that's pretty cool. That's I think that's very closely related to the Hispanic culture of Dia de los Muertos, like Day of the Dead. It's very similar to that. I guess two have in common. Hence why some of the dishes have like a bit of similarities. I can't really think of plates off the bat that are similar, but I can definitely tell that they might have adopted certain culture similarities from one another. Hence, there's many things that relate to one another. And so, yeah. So families would usually hang lanterns in front of their house, and they would do rituals and do certain sacrifices and offerings at their household altars, as I mentioned, usually the kabuto or whatever it is, and the incense along with the portrait of the dead, in order to welcome them into this world. And at the end of the 3-day festival, they would place a lantern into the closest body of water as a way of returning the dead spirits into I believe the spirit realm, or it is called, into the spirit world. And along with that, so many Obons that I have been to personally are held in West LA. A lot of them are held in the Saltel area. So basically, people like to call it I believe Osaka Town. Some people call it Little Japan. So basically, around if I know my streets real correctly, like Saltel, Sepulveda, and Wilshire, right around the area. And other festivals are held in other places such as South Bay Torrance. If you really look around, if you Google that stuff, you can find a lot of festivals in Los Angeles. Majority of the ones I went to were in West LA, Saltel area. Behind certain big backyards of schools, or behind like fencings where there's like a huge yard for like musician performances and stuff like that. So there's vacant properties, where it's outside vacant properties where they would hold Obon festivals. And actually, although it is 3-day long in general description of what an Obon festival is, there's actually The biggest Obon festival in Japan is located in snap. I believe it is held in Gifu. Yeah, it's held in Gifu, and it's called the Guju Odori Festival. I don't know what Guju means. I think it's slang for like very good, and it's 32 nights long. So it's about like 10 times as long. It's a little over a month long, a month and 2 days, and it's open to the public, to anyone who likes to join. And alongside with that, Obon festivals are generally held on through the 13th to the 15th on July or August, depending on the region. So that's like the history of Obon. And yeah, as a kid, I would wear yukatas, and there's kimonos and yukatas. Kimono is specifically made for women, so there aren't really any men kimonos except for little boys sometimes. And then the yukatas are basically Japanese all cotton made clothing for these festivities, such as the Obon Festival and other type of festivals held in Japan. So that's the history of Obon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next time you go to an Obon festival, maybe talking to people outside of the Japanese culture might be cool. As I mentioned, it was originated in India, spread throughout Southeast Asia, including China. So there might be other Asian folks or other people, who are of a mixed ethnicity, who might know a lot more about Obon than certain people do. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one. Later.